Okay, this is day one of our move from Phoenix, and it's absolutely terrible moving in the summertime. I don't know what we were thinking. So we're on the road and got everything loaded up. Kind of an emotional morning. And now, first things first, after getting our crazy ass little pug loaded up, who has extreme anxiety in the car, we have to go get coffee. I guess Starbucks isn't really coffee, but it's the closest we can do right now. This whole thing, as you can imagine, is actually kind of gnarly. Packing everything in the car. We did those U-Haul pods, but we filled up a whole bunch of those and tried to make it so that we could just fill up our car with whatever stuff we have left, guitars and stuff. To be quite honest, I'm really afraid are gonna get utterly baked in the sun. I know we're like doing this in the summertime, but honestly, it couldn't be helped. It is what it is. We had to go, and it's how it all worked out. And we are hitting the I-17 north, and we're going to Flagstaff. I think Flagstaff will be our next stop. Got a haircut. Don't know why I waited so long, but I think I was under the delusion that having long hair again after cutting my hair last year would be cool, but it's definitely not cool in the summertime. But Donut, our 14-year-old pug, has extreme car anxiety, and we've tried to give her a lot of stuff in the past, CBD even, and a lot of different things to try to help her with that. Nothing really works. It's just we've recognized that it's part of Donut and who she is. She's been that way since she was a puppy, and so if you're hearing like this pug grunting pig noise in the background, I don't know if my noise cancellation will pick it up or not on this microphone, but so that'll be more or less the theme to our trip going across country. But for now, we're gonna try to get the heck out of Phoenix. Can't take it, way too hot. Do I just keep going? Do I go Deer Valley? Oh yeah, okay. Trying to figure out my way to get on the freeway here. Don't usually come up to these parts. Loading stuff in the car this morning was a challenge because it's already, like first thing in the morning, it's already over 100 degrees, and I'm trying desperately to not have things melt as we load them into the car. So you have to kind of figure out what stuff to put in there that you don't actually need. And I mean, as you can probably see, this car, it's a Subaru Outback. It's like filled to the gills with stuff, and what we're gonna need to pull out every night when we stop for motels and stuff. Plants that we hope make it. For me, most importantly, selfishly, a couple guitars. I have my really beautiful classical guitar that is very temperature and humidity sensitive. It hates Phoenix, and I love it, so that's a complicated relationship. But getting that in the car along with my number one Strat and a little practice amp, a whole bunch of my CDs, things that, you don't normally think about when you live in a place that's not hell on earth. Hey, if I put this stuff in the car and leave it for a few minutes, it's gonna fucking melt. But that's summertime and Phoenix problems, unfortunately. But wish us luck that no one here in Metro Phoenix, while we're still here, tries to kill us. All right, let's go to Flagstaff. This is like my favorite part of the drive out of Phoenix. Actually, anytime we're leaving Phoenix, I love it. My winter heart is yearning. And when we moved here, to Phoenix, this is the kind of stuff, the romantic stuff, the pretty, the earthy stuff that we were most excited about, landscapes and everything. And to be completely honest, just kind of get caught up in the mundane. experience, at least for us living in the city down in the valley there. You don't really feel like you're in the desert, you know, the stuff like the Roadrunner and Coyote. And I just feel like we didn't really get enough of that, except when we were going out of town to go camping and things like that, go up to the Grand Canyon, which we did a couple times, which is cool. But I feel like after living in Phoenix now for almost 8 years, I feel like coming through this part, it'll be nice when we come back to visit to be able to see this and have it be more vacation-y and rather like a part of something that is taunting us just on the outskirts of town that we really never go see, which now in hindsight, you know, I guess I kind of feel bad that we didn't come up here more. But it's also fucking hot, so. Driving through the desert, surprisingly, as long as you have air conditioning, is one of my favorite things. Written songs about it and all that. It's inspiring to me, and some of my best memories are driving out to the desert from California, going to Albuquerque or whatever with my wife, my Jaina, my muñeca, my best friend, my girlfriend, many, many years. Starbucks, man. I don't know. I'm not into Starbucks anymore. It's so expensive, but I don't know. This is just not really that good. Arizona, you are a weird motherfucker. So heading east, we'll probably find some little stretches of old Route 66 that we'll take, but in the interest of saving time, because we do have to get to our destination, we're gonna mostly stay on Highway 40, but try to visit some cool spots that we've been to before, some that we've never been to before, which I'm really excited about. This is fucked up, man. Like, human beings are not supposed to live in the desert like this. We came here, no regrets on that, because it kind of helped us, you know, in the long run, it helped us do what we're doing now, I suppose. It was cheaper to live here at one point, and there was the attraction of coming to the desert, the dry climate and all that stuff. It's too hot. It's not natural. Humans need water. This hot stuff, things are getting hotter. It just doesn't make any sense to live in the heat like this in the summertime. Granted, it's, you know, has its times where it's beautiful in the valley, you know, in Phoenix, Mesa, Tempe, you know, during like the winter into like the early spring and I guess the fall to a certain extent. But so for me, hot is like 85, and then you come to Phoenix and it's like 115 for months straight. I don't see how people deal with that. So we're up at like the top of the, basically the plains when you're kind of coming up. Well, we've come up out of Phoenix and we're headed towards Flagstaff. We're probably still like 50 miles or so away. It's like 96 degrees now, so it's cooled down quite a bit. Well, 10 degrees, but at least it's not in the hundreds anymore here, at least according to the car. So we are on elk watch now for the next like 30 miles or so. I'm always freaked out about like hitting a deer or an elk. Obviously that would be a bad way to go out. Yeah, the heat, man. Super tripped out about like ruining my guitars and having like, I know like a solid body bolt-on neck, like a Stratocaster, probably not super susceptible to getting warped in the heat and all that, but I mean, it's just in the case there. I don't know. It's tripping on the idea of like your stuff getting messed up because it's up here in the heat, you know what I mean? It's just a weird thing to have to worry about. So I think we're having a little bit of an emotional time here, keeping most of that stuff off camera, but now my wife and I, being empty nesters, very strange, and it's going to take a while for it to hit us, but as you hear the soundtrack of my dog probably quite loudly panting and choking and coughing in the background, maybe our most dramatic kid. The idea of being empty nesters and all the stuff, the personal stuff that we won't go into. Maybe not focus on doing our own thing, but put it a little bit more in the forefront. But this trip across country is something that my wife and I have talked about for a long time. It's bittersweet because we're very excited for it, but we never got a chance to do this with our kids. We did travel and all that stuff, and we went camping, and we did the California to Arizona and back thing, Northern California, all that camping, but this is the first time that we're going across country. And when I say across country, I mean like way across country, you're gonna see. So it's just strange because all the memories and all the emotional stuff, having kids who are now all grown up, leaving them behind, which we're not. You know, obviously they're with us, as you can imagine. And for those of you who maybe have gone through that before, or maybe some of you who have thought about it because you're close to that time in your life, or maybe some of you who have little kids who are thinking about the future because it goes by so fast. It's a lot, and it hits you kind of like a ton of bricks. I'm a pretty emotional guy. Yeah, you know, I'm not going to get emotional, but I straight up cry over stuff. You know, when you're driving in a car and you're getting set up for a long drive and all the thoughts come into your head and all that stuff, I think that's it's really going to be a big part of this drive as we go. Where we're moving to might be, you know, our final move. We've done some moving around, I guess mostly in California. Coming to Arizona was a big move in 2018. You know, we did that because we wanted to buy a house for much cheaper than the absolute insanity that is real estate prices in Southern California. Successfully pulled that off, and we bought a house, which was amazing. And it was a house that we loved, and we fixed it up like crazy. Made it really, really nice, and then sold it. The proceeds from that are helping us do what we're now doing, and we're pretty excited about that. So I don't know how much you guys can hear of my dog having an absolute conniption fit in the back, but she really doesn't like to go on road trips. So she has little mini pug freakouts, and the elevation change I think is getting her a little bit too, but she's as comfortable as she could probably, or at least as comfortable as we can make her on this road trip, because this Subaru is packed to the gills with probably 1/32 of our shit. So one of the things that's so cool about Arizona, the diversity in the landscape that you encounter when driving through Arizona is actually awesome. On every road trip where we have Donut with us in the back, she's kind of like a metronome when she's panting. And that is literally the soundtrack of the last 14 years of our life. We love our little pug. She is a naughty, sassy little thing, and she's gotten more naughty and sassy as she's gotten older. To have a constant metronome in your life, especially on long drives where you want to zone out, be contemplative and things, but there's this constant beat, and my recollection is that it's always the same tempo. So it's almost like it's kind of set up the tempo in my mind where I constantly have Donut's panting tempo. And I'm wondering how that's influenced the way I write music, or the way I try to write music. But then I also wonder what it's done to my brain over the years. As I'd mentioned, we're going to talk a lot about news that I have, and I want to kind of space it out because I got to tease you suckers. I got to make sure that I have things to talk about. I wanted to talk a little bit about Sway. I'm aware of the fact that most people that are watching this are probably going to be curious about what the deal is with Sway, just kind of the mystery behind it, because I do understand Sway was kind of this band that made this Millia Pink and Green EP back in the day, and what happened to these guys and all that stuff. I do want to make other videos in the future that talk about like what Sway was and all that stuff. Like Sway started basically in 1999, more or less, year 2000. Initially had a different name. Sway was Royal Space Force at one point, based on an anime film that I loved. But then we changed it at some point to Sway, and that was like a big argument, I guess, at first, because I just thought the name Sway was awesome. Initially, the band, which was Seth and Amber and myself and Jeremy, our original second guitar player, there was a little bit of an argument. I'll spare the details on who didn't like it and who did, but I kind of put my foot down because I thought that was a good band name. So I don't really, want to go into those details or whatever, but it became Sway. And we started off with the idea that we were going to do like a real ambient rock thing, definitely inspired by, you know, the shoegaze thing or whatever, because obviously some of my favorite bands are Cocteau Twins and My Bloody Valentine and Slow Dive and all that stuff. But I also love, you know, Led Zeppelin, you know, Dinosaur Jr., Sonic Youth, as far as late 80s and 90s rock. So it was going to be a very ambient rock thing, and as it kind of became what it was, I was pushing more for an ambient side of things, like, you know, a la Slow Dive, Cocteau Twins is what my vision was. Since early 2000s, late 90s, a lot of those bands just seemed like they were completely done and off the radar, so I figured, fuck it, like, we can do a sound that's somewhat similar to that, but I was always very sensitive about not wanting to copy exactly those types of sounds and be like the new Slow Dive or anything like that. Now, that doesn't bother a lot of people. Obviously, there's a lot of copycat bands out there, and frankly, a lot of fans don't really give a shit. They're okay with copycat bands. I never wanted to do that. I always figured the idea of doing art is to borrow from other people's stuff but make it your own. So I was always very cautious not to bite too hard off of other people, including bands that were defunct, right? Because I was so worried that people were going to be like, oh, you're basically trying to copy Slow Dive, or you're trying to copy Cocteau Twins, or whatever. Like, all the Sway stuff that we did, including Milia Pink and Green, was wanting to take aspects of those types of bands and their sounds and make it our own, or at least make it my own, where songwriting is involved. I guess I was probably the primary songwriter, and I just didn't want to bite, because shoegaze in and of itself was kind of a, you know, derogatory, pejorative type of way to describe bands who looked at their pedal boards more than they did the audience and didn't jump around and all that stuff. Everybody knows that story, and if you don't, kids, you should probably look it up. It doesn't have anything to do with how many pedals you have and if your band uses 14 fuzz pedals or whatever. And Milia was a good example of maybe getting a little too close to the fire for me in that sound, and having to back away from it a little bit, because I was like, okay, if we go too much harder with this stuff, we're going to just basically be biting Slow Dive, we're going to be biting off of Cocteau Twins. And I always used touches of those sorts of sounds, but I never really wanted to go in too hard. With shoegaze and dream bop music, it's probably one of the easiest genres, as it were, to emulate, especially nowadays when everybody can just cheat, myself included, by using pedals. Because back in the day, I didn't really use, I used pedals, but most of those sounds with like the swirly guitars and everything, but back in the day we had to use like MIDI verbs and rack effects and all that stuff, and I went through that phase where I had like my rack and all that. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but little by little I'm just going to talk more about Sway, because without tooting my own horn too much, and I've been trying to not toot my horn for like fucking 20 years, I think maybe it's time, since every other mediocre artist out there has their own vlogs and all that crap, it's time for me to talk about Sway stuff, what it was, who it was, why it was, and all that stuff. So little by little, hopefully I'm able to keep doing it and not get burnt out, because over the years of how much love, frankly, Sway has gotten online, especially with like the new generation of young kids. My son, my daughter, they're both constantly pointing out people making like videos of them like trying on clothing and all manner of shit like to my music, which is amazing, and I love that. Like, I fucking love it, and I'm still flabbergasted that people like stuff that Sway did. So I think it's maybe time to give people a little bit what they want, because you've let me know so much over the years, email, direct messages on social media. It's kind of taken on its own life over the past 20 years or whatever, and I want to try to speak to that fan that likes Sway and give you some more background information. And just a little teaser, one of the things that we're going to talk about, I'm going to be re-releasing physical media because of, frankly, years and years and years of requests for it. So we're going to talk more about that as we go cross country, but yeah. So we kind of went north out of Phoenix, Arizona, and now we're teeing off at the east-west or west-east route, which is Highway 40 and portions of Old Route 66 for the 100th anniversary of Route 66, 1926 to 2026. But so here's Flagstaff, Arizona. as you can see, kind of like straight ahead in the background. I don't know if you can see it over this Honda that's in front of us, but that's like the San Francisco Peak. That has a huge part to play in native Navajo and Hopi tribes lore with regard to their deities and spirituality and so on and so forth. But there's a very palpable spiritual feeling that you get if you allow it when you come up through here, even if you're, you know, not into that kind of thing. It just feels different when you come up out of the valley. They believed that the gods lived in those mountains, especially when you come through and it's stormy and all that stuff and you get lightning up at the peak and all that. It's actually amazing. I think the plan is we're gonna cruise down old Route 66 here through Flagstaff, and then we're gonna head east and we're gonna continue on through Winona, Arizona, and then we're gonna go to Winslow and stuff. But yeah, let's just kind of cruise this for now. Yeah, this is definitely, in my opinion, the raddest part of Arizona. Northern Arizona by far wins. Sorry, Central and Southern Arizona people, but you all know it anyway. You know it. This is like, it's just why I have mixed feelings about Arizona is there's stuff like this that's so cool, but I think what personally pisses me off as an asshole is that I just can't stand this, like, I don't even know how to put it, like this, like, never mind, I'm not going to go on a political rant. I was told by a coworker when I left that I need to stay apolitical for my vlogging to be relevant to everyone, but you also said that I need to be the true Andrew, and I'm doing that, but have to be honest, right? And part of that honesty is me saying how I feel, and how I feel is Arizona is an amazing place, especially Northern Arizona, but there's just a lot of it that, especially as like a white dude, annoys me. Other people trying to like do the wink wink casual racism thing, but yeah. Donut, get a drink, drink. All right, we made a pit stop in Flagstaff, east side of Flagstaff. Now we're getting back on the road and we are headed east on Route 66. Actually, we're on Highway 40, so. Winona Ryder. Go check out the Twin Arrows, which I think it was for a while a single arrow. I don't know why this camera tilts weird, but I don't know. Hopefully this is looking legit, but still getting used to this camera. So the Twin Arrows kind of out here in the middle of nowhere off of old Route 66, which I think we're kind of on now, somewhere near the old alignment, but this is out between Winona, Arizona and Winslow. But this is like an old pit stop, truck stop out here, cafe and all this stuff, so you can see the ruins. And there's the single arrow, whereas it used to be twin arrows. Here, hopefully don't get a flat tire from pulling in here, but I'm gonna stop real quick. Check this out. This is actually pretty cool. So now it's the single arrow. I don't know if the sun is gonna be hard on this here, but pretty neat deal here. So there used to be two of these out here, and you can see where the other one used to be. I guess for a while the fallen second arrow was laying out here on the ground, but now it's gone. Out alongside Highway 40, but this is pretty close to the old Route 66 alignment, and then you can see the ruins of the truck stop that was out here. I think it was like a convenience store, and I don't know if there was any kind of like lodging or anything here, but as you can kind of see, this place is pretty tore up. But it is a living art exhibit because, as you can see, there's constantly layering layers of graffiti that people are adding out here. I dig graffiti and spray art and the layers and all the things. I like things that are layered and colorful, so graffiti kind of fits into that, especially when you've got years and years of built up graffiti. And there's something kind of cool about graffiti on old decrepit buildings. Hopefully there's nobody in here that wants to murder me. I think it was like a cafe, convenience store, probably a little gift shop. And I dig like the texture of the walls and everything as the old layers of paint and graffiti are kind of just falling apart. You know, textural things are actually a big part of the way I see music when I'm making my own stuff. There's a certain aspect of ambient music when it comes to layering guitars and sounds and all that stuff, found sounds and stuff, like I've done with Sway and with my other stuff, including Field Plan FLDPLN. If you guys haven't heard of Field Plan FLDPLN, that's one of my side projects that I did, where I did like electronic stuff and saxophone, actually, because I grew up playing saxophone way before I started playing guitar. And I made a Field Plan album a few years ago. It was kind of like a COVID project that was like layered saxophones that almost sound like guitars, but very little to no guitar on that Field Plan Escalator record. You should check that out. Experimental, kind of 80s homage. But yeah, so this is Twin Arrows. And next stop, I think we're gonna go to Winslow and see what's happening out there. This camera's cool. I'm getting used to it, but it's gonna take a little while to figure out all its secrets. So this is probably gonna be total garbage until then, but hopefully not, and hopefully this microphone's working. Feeling super dramatically sensitive about the amount of pug grunts and panting that you hear in the background while we're recording on the road. I really hope that that's not total trash, but we'll see. She's cute, but she is a total pain in the ass. We love her. Little donut. She is old, but she goes with us on our trips. And we're not sure if she loves it or if she hates it. Yeah. All right. Gonna head back. The whole point of this entire move is that it'll give me a chance to do more of my stuff. Whoo, it's windy. But there you can see the former twin arrows. Now it's just a single arrow. All right, on to Winslow, Arizona. Route 66 east, although we're on the 40. So I'm going to refer to the 40 in general as kind of heading out the Route 66 way, because even though it's not technically Route 66, it's relatively close to the old alignment in a sense that it's heading east and west in the vicinity of old Route 66. But when we get off on portions of old Route 66, if we're able to heading this way, I'll let you know when it's the legit Route 66, and then that'll continue like as far as we go. Meteor City. Been a long time since we've been out here, but that's some serious kitschy shit right there, and I'm here for it. Dinosaurs, Volkswagens, geodesic structures, the desert. Yup. That's what's up. Detrain. Man, I love trains in the desert, especially when they got the stacked shipping containers like that, all the colors and everything. There's something so rad about driving through the desert with the red earth and all that stuff out here, and you've got these colorful, generally kind of pallety, in a sense, like in a color sense, shipping containers that are stacked up. It's like a cool contrast with the desert. Something very, I don't know. It's rad. Those people have California plates and they've got their car full, so they're probably doing a Route 66er. Reminds me of when Walt and Jesse are successful in stealing the methylamine. That fucker Todd. Can't stand Todd. That guy's a good actor though, Jesse Plemons. Love that dude. Like one of those places that anytime you watch an Arizona Route 66 video on YouTube or whatever, this is a must-see, a must-stop. And actually, I don't think we've been here before. So, what did it say, half a mile? Coming to this little downtown Winslow here, which is very interesting, very cool. Definitely picking up some old 66 vibe here. Old gas stations and houses. Neat stuff. Try to make sure I don't get T-boned by a local. I'm sure people that live here and are actually local to this area probably absolutely love when all the people come through here, looky-loos and stuff with their YouTube cameras and their phones and shit. But sorry, my brethren and sistern, we doing that today here in Winslow, Arizona. So yeah, all right, let's go check this out. Oh yeah. I'm gonna go check this spot out. This is like the obligatory go-to spot on Route 66 in Winslow. Hey man, take it easy. Truck's cool. Stuff. I wonder if it would drive you absolutely crazy to hang out here all day and have to listen to the Eagles on a loop if you worked here. What's up? Scan it. So I am standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona. Hey, fuck the Eagles. That is a big ass Stratocaster across the street though. I think this is definitely gonna be one of the worst things for me about getting used to doing like the vlogging shit is I cannot stand the idea of people driving by, seeing dude with camera and being like, look at this douchebag. Weird out vibe. Uber douche. It's okay though, like literally everybody's doing the shit, so why not the guy from Sway and Goodbye Ranger, right? See if I could do this though without getting hit by a car. Apologize for the wind, it's a little bit breezy today. What's up, motherfucker? 100% must check out this giant red Strat across the street. This is legit, dude. What? Okay. Pretty sick. So this is a cool little Route 66 stop. The other thing I think of, like I was mentioning earlier, is like I have to wonder how like the locals here truly feel about all the looky-loos and tourists and stuff. Maybe they dig it because, I don't know, it brings like money into the town or whatever. Don't really know. But it is a cool spot and it is part of America's history and culture and all that, so it's a pleasure to visit. I'm just always super hypersensitive about the locals. Being a grumpy guy myself. But you have to admit there is something cool about going down the old alignment of Route 66 and seeing all the old stuff. It's just really cool. Not really a big Eagles fan. I know a lot of people love the Eagles, but I am not one of them. Palo Verde trees. So I pulled up at this gas station here. I'm waiting for the Texaco guys to run out and help me out, but nothing's happening. But probably because from the looks of things, no one has worked here for 60 years. But this is rad. Old Texaco gas station. Gotta take a look at this. Pretty awesome. Marfac lube, washing. Very cool. Very cool old 66 history. Gas stations and gas. That's a huge part of it, right? Because cars were pretty much the reason for Route 66. Fire Chief Gasoline, Texaco. Oh my God, the bell works, dude. That is awesome. See this line here? I don't know if you can hear this, listen. The bell goes off inside to alert the guys to come running out to service your car for you, wash your windshield, fill up your gas tank, check to see what services you need. A thing from a bygone era. Back in the car, headed down old Route 66, making our way east again, southeast I guess, but easterly. But yeah, this is Winslow, so obviously it's seen better days, but like I said, just another part of American history. I can kind of see at a certain point becoming kind of like a train dude. Let's head east. I think the next stop, if memory serves, I know we're headed towards Holbrook, Arizona, but I think the next stop, let me try to safely merge onto the freeway here, Highway 40. The next stop is probably for us the Jackrabbit trading post. But the last time we were here on tour with Goodbye Ranger, I got a couple stickers and I don't know what happened to them, but I wanted to get a small Jackrabbit sticker to put on my #1 Strat, like a memory thing. And plus then in the future when I play shows and stuff, you guys can see it on there and be like, oh yeah, I remember when that dude went through there. I watched that video. We're on our way heading to the Jackrabbit trading post. You know, here it is, but check out this mini tornado, dust tornado over here. A dust devil, as it were. It's actually pretty crazy. It's going way up into the sky too. Gnarly. Mother Nature is weird. I want to see too if they're okay with me filming in the store, because I think it'd be cool to actually show you me buying the sticker and then putting it on my guitar later so that you can see it in the future. So we'll see if that works out. Don't know. There it is. Little bit too quick of a stop here with the amount of shit that we have in the car and the dog. Old gas station. Here it is. Here it is indeed. Let's see if I can park here somewhere. Aight. This place is rad. The Jackrabbit Trading Post. I was very happy to see that they do have those little stickers like I bought when I was on tour with Goodbye Ranger. That is a rad shirt. Yo, might have to get that. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna get another sticker for my guitar. What's up, Jim? Yeah, I love this store. So much cool stuff. Thank you for letting me film in here. Yeah, man, do they have that shirt? Really? Yo, gnomes. I was gonna see if they had that little shirt. A lot of cool stuff. Okay, so definitely, oh yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Do you have a 3D printer?
Awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to watch one work.
Here it is indeed.
Here it is.
Here it is. I love it. I feel like back in the day, is it true that there were more signs? Like you guys had more signs? I remember like along the highway. Like,
There used to be some a lot along the highway. They probably have disappeared.
Yeah.
Now, like the owner told me, he's been making signs.
Yeah.
And then sending them to people. So then that way,
Oh, okay, yeah.
in the businesses, they just have them up in the businesses a lot of the time.
I see.
Or like if somebody travels through, and we have the little signs that we make, but the big ones takes a few weeks to get them made.
Yeah.
And they'll put them up. So all locally around here, you'll see a bunch in the different towns, the Winslow, Holbrook, Joe City.
Awesome.
And then like as you're traveling through on 66, if you stop and look around,
You'll see the different signs.
businesses
I love
will
that
have
though.
them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's actually.
That way you know how much further you have
Yeah.
to get to us.
Oh, so that was rad. Got my stickers. I'm gonna put that on my guitar later so you guys can see me do it, but I wanted to show you the Here It Is sign real quick up close. Across the street here. Here it is. See if I can cross the road. Froggered a little bit, but there's no cars coming, so should be okay. At this point, I'm super hoping that our car, which we've had running for hours now, is gonna be okay. I'm not super happy about the wear and tear on the car, but I think that's part and parcel to the whole driving across the country thing. So this is the raddest sign, right? So I had to get the, show ya. Here It Is sticker and Jackrabbit sticker, but that bad boy is going on my #1 Strat. Awesome. There's the Jackrabbit trading post. There is something undeniably beautiful about being out here in the desert like this, so very cool to come back. Check it out. Getting off the freeway in Holbrook, Arizona. So yeah, Holbrook, Arizona, elevation 5,080 feet. It's actually pretty high elevation, relatively speaking, but we're used to being down in the valley in Phoenix. Okay, this is happening right now. They have a drive-through Route 66 Holbrook Shield.
Proceed to the route.
No. Hey Siri, end navigation.
Ending navigation.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. Are you guys excited
Don't
for this?
mention it.
Yeah. Don't talk back to me. All right. We're going through the drive-through. Okay, we have driven through the Holbrook Route 66. Oh, okay. Donut, calm down. See, this is the thing. Donut gets super riled up. We're gonna go take a look at this Route 66 Shield here in Holbrook that you can drive through, which is rad. Just drove through that. Let's take a look at this thing. Yes, sir. Neon and everything. Legit. Oh yeah, we gotta go take a look at the wigwam. Pug action, pug action. You hot? You get another drink? Now go get a drink. Holbrook, Arizona. That good? It's hot. It's still like 105 or something like that out here. Surprise, it's the desert, motherfucker. Okay. We are going to drive through the Route 66 Shield in Holbrook. Let's do this. Had our little pit stop at the Holbrook Route 66 Shield for the doggy. Good place to stop if you have a dog. Some shade and stuff, but now we're cruising down the strip, old Route 66 in Holbrook, Arizona. Yeah. Oh, look at that place. That's crazy how much a lot of this stuff has fallen in the last few years since we've been in Arizona. The wigwam. Sleep in a wigwam. Actually, a teepee. But we gotta pull through here, I think. This is obligatory pull through. Hopefully no one comes out. Get off the property if you're not staying here. But these are very cool, man. Very cool. We never got a chance to stay here. But I can only imagine it would have been a ton of fun with Donut. Wigwam Motel. Have you slept in a wigwam lately? Very cool, very kitschy. And actually, I don't know if those are apartments behind it or if that's more motel. I'm assuming those are probably residences in the back there. So that's super cool that I'm filming people's residences, but just wanted to see the teepees, yo. Super kitschy Americana. Classic Route 66 goodness, right? Not a whole lot going on here in Holbrook today. So we'll continue heading east on the old road. Have to check the dyno action right here. Plus it'll give me a chance to walk around and have all these people waiting in their cars at the light be like, hey, look at this douche with the camera. That is super rad. I don't know if this place is open today. It's super cool, man. Painted desert? How about painted dinosaurs? Let's go. Petrified wood. I'm super scared. In fact, I'm petrified. All right, driving through Holbrook. We're getting ready to get back on the road. We're gonna head east continually until we get to New Mexico. I actually ended up going into that, the pug is overheating. She just had some big drinks and got some shade, but it's fucking hot. 108, 109 degrees here. But anyways, I went into that rock shop and got some cool petrified wood. little bit on the expensive side, but it was kind of worth it to support the old cat that was working there. He'd been doing it. He said he'd been there for 50 years, 50 years, which is rad. And he was super nice, asking me what our plans were and all that. So I wanted to support. And let's get back on the road. Leaving Holbrook, heading for New Mexico. So we're almost out of Arizona, coming up on the New Mexico state line. We're coming up on some of the cool rock formations and everything that happen alongside the freeway here as you're coming into New Mexico. But I've always liked this part right here where you're coming up along these cliffs and you've got those pock marks in the stone, which is super cool. Super cool. But we're getting ready to say goodbye to Arizona, and that's fine. So yeah, we got a lot more stuff to talk about as far as Sway goes. But part of the point of this vlog is to do some episodes, as it were, to talk about Sway in general. Talk about my guitar sounds that I use, talk about shows and tours and things we did, and to talk more about what I mentioned earlier in the video about reissues, physical media reissues of some Sway stuff, which I'm super excited about, and I hope you guys are too. The whole point is we're going to make those available, and we also need to have bigger conversations in the future here about like streaming music versus physical media, because I have some pretty strong opinions that many of you probably already know based on like my angry ranty posts on social media over the years. Back in the day when Spotify and all that stuff kind of came into its own and became a little more popular, I was very much against it. And guess what? I still am. And the thing is I've had a lot of people that have hit me up over the years that have said, hey, we found out about Sway, we found out about Goodbye Ranger, Field Plan, the whole thing from Spotify or streaming, whatever the case may be. Man, that's rad. I dig that. But all in all, I hate the idea of streaming music. And I'm guilty of using it myself. But I am kind of like secretly hoping that the physical media thing actually comes back 100% and that people start to decide that streaming music, I know it'll never happen, but that streaming music is somehow uncool and you got to get the record. That would be my dream scenario, even though I know that's not going to happen. But Donut was starting to mellow out, but now she's doing her pug grunts. It's become more real now that we've left Arizona. We're officially in our second state here on our trip. I'm trying to remember, we're getting kind of hungry, but I'm trying to remember what the name of that burger place was. The place they ate in Breaking Bad when they had like takeout and were eating at the dinner table. But I'm pretty sure whatever it was, I can't remember. Pretty sure whatever it was, there's one in Gallup. So we're gonna see if we can find that. And if not, we're gonna hold out. But it's starting to be chow time, I think. One of the funny things about our dog is she will pant and pant and pant and make grunty pug noises for hours. For hours. With her constant rhythm. But if you start to mention her by name, she gets quiet because she thinks you're talking about her. If she thinks you're talking about something that's important to her, like some sort of TREAT, she gets quiet. All right, we figured it out. It's Blake's in Gallup here we're gonna go to. Some cool old buildings here. The portion of Route 66 in Gallup that time has forgotten about. There's El Rancho, Hotel El Rancho, famous. We will not be staying there, sadly, but it is very cool. Cool spot. So we ended up eating at Blake's Lotta Burger in Gallup. It's pretty good, actually. A little bit of a chore with the dog because she's an absolute French fry junkie. So she got her fill of French fries and that calmed her down a little bit. We are all filled up on saturated fats, cheese, and meat. We've now been driving since about 10 a.m. or so when we left Phoenix. The donut hasn't calmed down yet. She's still doing the anxiety pant. Had several water breaks, lots of treats, French fries, hamburger, but she's still 100%. That's our life. Jumping someone else's train. New Mexico, baby. And we are going to try to blast through Albuquerque tonight. It is approximately 8 hours into our trip today, and I can happily report that Donut has fallen asleep. And we think she's in a pretty deep sleep too, because she's doing that low pug snore that she does when she's out. And that's really good news. Never mind that sound you heard of your bed, in your closet, in your exit light. And we're almost to ABQ, bitch. Line for the big fight, to riding in this game. Who wants home? Time for a potty stop, and we're going to the casino. Just kidding. We are not going to the casino, but we are going to have a potty stop. So, kind of dark. Also, I have my sunglasses on, and I can barely see anything, so I need to put my regular glasses on. We stopped at the Route 66 Travel Center somewhere out here. I don't even know where we are. There's like a casino over there somewhere, but we needed to have a potty stop for Donut. I'm pretty tired, to be honest, but we're gonna keep on trucking through Albuquerque, and then we're gonna head to Tucumcari, to our final destination for this evening. Pretty sunset tonight. Coming into Albuquerque. Pitch black, pretty much surrounds us out in the desert. Shadowy ghosts of the mountains and hills in the distance, and the city lights, street lights look like gold dust in the bottom of a sluice box.
That contentment is the same as happiness.
Yeah, you can't be holding on to him while he's being electrocuted.
Creator of Better Call Saul and the creator of Breaking Bad, Vince Gilligan. We'll be right
with no children and no casinos.
Getting pretty tired. Just over 12 hours since we set out from Phoenix today. We're on UFO watch, people. Pretty cool. We're about 100 miles or so out from Tucumcari. Feeling a little bit bummed because I think when we get to Tucumcari, there's a good chance that a lot of the motels and businesses will have already turned off their neon for the night, which would kind of suck because that's a big attraction for Tucumcari. And then when we leave in the morning to continue heading east, obviously we won't be able to see neon. Well, we made it to Tucumcari. It's just before midnight. We're on old Route 66. Super friggin' tired. And so far, I think we're pulling into town a little bit too late to kind of get the glory of all the neon, or at least what's left here. But we're gonna take a quick cruise to see if the Blue Swallow motel Still has its neon on, which we kind of doubt at this point because it's kind of late. But we're gonna stay at the Roadrunner Inn tonight, which we're pretty excited about. A little bit of cool stuff here. The Motel Safari with their neon sign. What's left of it. Neon. There's the Blue Swallow. Its lights are off, of course. There is TP Curios. There's our Roadrunner. So I'm gonna make kind of like a pass and then come back through again. Fairly certain Donut is going to throw an incredible shit fit because it's late and she's super grumpy like we are. But the anxiety has reached ultimate peak. Pretty excited because this place looks really, really cool. Really cool. All right, let's figure this out. Donut's gonna wake every single person up in the entire lodge. Well, that's exciting. Okay, so this is quite possibly the raddest motel that we've ever stayed at. And we're here super late, but it is very cute. The Roadrunner Lodge in Tucumcari, New Mexico. Really, really nicely restored. Super cool. Super cool. Mid-century modern elements. The breeze block. Beautiful breeze block. Check out the pet area over here where Donut's getting her donut on. We're here kind of late to get in on a lot of this stuff, but there's like a fire pit here. This is probably where a pool used to be back in the day, but yeah, really cool. I'll walk around a little bit. I don't want to wake anybody up because it is pretty late. And I don't want to freak anybody out either. There's a cat over here. Cat rolling around. Historic 66. Roadrunner Lodge. Mid-century style, modern comfort. Indeed. Yo, there's pink flamingos in the planter. They did it up right. This is quintessential mid-century Route 66 kitsch. Yo, okay. Altogether cool. Can we give it up a little bit for the Rambler American in the driveway? Office is closed, but we'll hit them up in the morning. They said they have coffee in the lobby. That's cool. But yeah, not much going down out here on the main street. Yo, is that an Edsel? Route 66 at midnight in 2026, the 100-year anniversary of the route, whatever. Kind of bummed that we're getting in so late, but this place is so fucking rad. Hope this video doesn't end up being too long. It's gonna be monster editing to get this done because I'm still a noob, but I'm looking forward to showing everybody at least this part of the beginning of our journey from day one. Coming from Phoenix, Arizona, making it all the way to Tucumcari, New Mexico. It was a long day because we had Donut and stuff. And like I've said a few times today, she has really, really bad anxiety when we travel, and it's always been that way. And now, I think it's time to go get some rest, take some more shit out of our car, and just enjoy the night. But I don't know, we couldn't have found a more rad place to stay tonight. I'm pretty stoked. Not only do we get to do a long, cool day of traveling through the desert, figuratively cool anyway, it was really hot all day, obviously, but this is a very neat place to stay. Let's go take a look at the room. Okay, so let's take a look at this room here. Super cute room. Bed. This place is absolutely rad. This is like so mid-century modern. twister on the wall. Yo. Old school, mid-century, modern swimming pool themed shower enclosure. Yo. The toilet is sanitized for your protection. Tons of mid-century stuff set up here. Shh. Okay. 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 Come here. Come here. Hey. Hey. Come here. Calm down. Come here. Calm down. Time to calm down. Let's get in your bed. Get in your bed. We're gonna crash for the night, but one more time, you gotta check this out. Look at this place. They did it up really, okay. Magic fingers, massaging assembly for the bed. This is about as legit as it gets. Very well done, Roadrunner Lodge. Okay, so Donuts had a couple dog bones. The people from the Roadrunner Lodge left her some doggy treats and stuff. That's amazing. These people are super cool. They know what's up. That's day one. Stay tuned for day two on our travel across the country. Ooh.